Channel 10.
We used to be like CNN Channel 10, and we used to think that people would catch on.
You know,
but if you're not from Queens, if you don't got Time Warner or whatever, like, well, I didn't know that.
Do it, yo. Yo, roll up, man. It's different channels, son. Roll up, on, man. Roll up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man. It's all good. Roll up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Roll up, yo.
CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas is grown men. Bold face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas that's grown men. Bold face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace.
We are back once again. This is the Channel 10 podcast. I am Singar Superior. And for this episode, I got two people straight from Portland. I got Caress the MC and I got Syph, who are, I guess, yeah, technically you guys are one half of Core Demonstration, right?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
How you guys doing?
Doing excellent. After this, we about to work on some new shit that we got coming out. So
cool.
So busy.
Caress. So since I primarily prepared for interviewing you, I wanted to dig into your background, everything like that, and then, Syph, I'm going to bring you in too, throughout, weave you into the story and everything. But Caress, you are from the southeast part of Portland, right?
Yeah, I represent the southeast part. That's where I grew up. I was born in the northeast side. Grew up in the southeast, so yeah, that's what I'm representing, southeast Portland.
But what about yourself, Syph?
Same with me, except I was born and raised in Southeast. Just always been in the Southeast.
I know with you, Caress, I know that you do have, some a music background. I know you have some family members who do music too, right?
Yeah, I got family members that do music. Got family members that are in bands, and they tour around. It's mostly like Christian gospel music, but I've always been raised around music and everything. My grandma, when she goes to church, sometimes she takes the mic and sings. So yeah, music has been a part of my life for a long time, my whole life.
Oh, that's what's up. Any rappers in your family?
I'm the first one, actually. The first one. First one. I actually got a cousin that raps and does his thing like that, but he doesn't take it as serious. But yeah, I'm the first rapper that's taking it seriously.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. What about yourself, Syph? Any music people in your family besides yourself?
Definitely. I mean, same deal. Music has always just been in my house. There was always music playing, in the stereo. Radio was on or something. Everybody in my family plays some type of instrument or makes some type of music. I got into music when I was 6. I started off by playing guitar, then I played bass, then I played drums, and then while I was playing drums, I started MCing too. But yeah, it's always been part of me. My sister, she does all sorts of instruments. She sings. My mom, she used to play the piano. All my aunts and uncles were in bands or something. But yeah, music has always been around.
Now, when I know you guys probably get, well, maybe not as much anymore whenever you guys do interviews or whatever, or when you talk to people outside of Portland, and it's just about the notion for some years that some people never kind of thought of Portland as a place that had hip hop, although hip hop is everywhere wherever you go. And I'm not sure if that kind of stigma about Portland as the Portlandia kind of hipstery kind of places
Check this out. Portland is known for its hipsterness, but it's not what people think it is who live outside of Portland. People who live outside of Portland think it's all like that, but we, just like any other city, man, we got rappers, we got people from all different walks of life. But right now, I think the hip hop scene in Portland is getting bigger because we got so much diversity, and it's a feeling or a scene that nobody has seen before.
Yeah, there's definitely a hip hop community here, and it's it's actively growing. And
rapidly growing.
Especially in this past year, like all producers, MCs, breakdancers, any like hip hop artists of all sorts, they've really been like linking up in this past year, and we've all just been connecting with each other and trying to make the Portland hip hop scene popping on the bigger scale.
And I think for so many years, the problem has been like, since we weren't, a huge hip hop place, the problem has been like people who were rapping didn't know how to connect with each other.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I want to be the first one out of Portland. But over the past couple years, we've really started trying to, all of us MCs here in the Northwest have been really trying to build a community. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's what's helping the Portland hip hop scene grow.
Yeah. And there definitely is the hipster scene here. Like,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's everything in Portland, really, like, because Portland has the motto, like, keep it weird. And I pretty much look at that like, just like, be yourself. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, everybody is whatever they feel. You know what I mean? So there's a whole lot of diversity as far as like characters, if that makes sense.
I was doing a little bit of reading up on like Portland's, hip hop scene, and it does seem like you guys said, like it has changed quite a bit. I know, I think I read somewhere, I think from some kind of 2013 article from Vice, I believe, about Portland's hip hop scene and how in certain, I guess during that time, every so often certain hip hop shows will get like kind of shut down and everything like that, and then from then on, it's like been this constant, I guess, resurgence of the scene. And, with both of you guys, I wonder how much people, like, especially with you, Caress, since I know that you're like an avid baller till this day, peep figures like Martell Webster and especially Damian Lillard coming out with that album and everything like that. So how has those two figures in the Portland community contributed to the hip hop scene? Has that helped at all, do you guys think?
Oh, I think it definitely helped. Dame Lillard, he's the type of dude, he'll come to any hip hop show and he'll just hang out. And I think that, helped us a little bit, just so people start coming out. They're like, oh, Damian Lillard's fucking with the Portland hip hop scene. Us Portland natives should be doing the same thing and supporting as well. So yeah, I think that definitely helped out a lot. Also, as far as what you was talking about with the shows, the hip hop shows always getting shut down and stuff, all that did was help us find another way to do it. Cause now we're throwing house shows, we're getting booked in people's backyards and making it popping. You know what I mean? Yeah. We don't got to worry about none of that no more. If you get booked at a venue, that's cool. But now we found other ways to do it without getting harassed and, trying to get having the police try to shut our scene down because we're growing, Yeah.
And I think a big reason that was going on is because like the hip hop scene definitely isn't like the mainstream Portland scene. Like there's a hip hop community, and the hip hop community isn't like, it's not the main Portland community, you know what I mean? Like it's the hip hop community. So like whoever's not part of that, they don't really understand hip hop shows. So the police or the neighbors or whoever was responsible for shutting down the hip hop shows, they were just people who they didn't understand it. You know what I mean?
Also, since, you guys, I'm assuming, I think we're probably all around the same age, assuming that we're all 90s babies here. With that, when you guys were like growing up, was there any kind of, well, I'm sure there was, but was there any kind of local artists who were on the radio or who were just like around the time that you guys were aware of when you guys were growing up?
Nuts.
Well, yeah, when I was growing up, Cool Nuts was the man. Yeah, he actually has a radio show out here in Portland right now.
107.5.
Yep, on 107.5. I think he's got a couple more days now, but yeah. So yeah, Cool Nuts is the OG in Portland right now. That's who everybody looks up to right now. Also, other than Cool Nuts, I grew up listening to a cat named Immaculate a lot. Yeah, so Immaculate, Cool Nuts, and pretty much as far as Portland artists, that's really who we had to look up to, because right now Immaculate, she's doing a lot of big things right now, and definitely a leader as far as a Portland MC, somebody that, you know, Portland natives who are trying to be MC should look up to, because he's made a lot of success being from Portland, and you know, whether he's battle rapping or rapping, he's just a good guy
and he just got skill.
Yeah, and he just got skill. So yeah, those two guys pretty much are the people who, if you're from Portland, you grow up listening to.
When it comes to the, you guys' like resourcefulness when it came to, you know, that period when certain shows were getting shut down and everything like that, and performing in backyards, just finding different ways to get booked. Because, you know, when I was like, you know, researching you, Caress, the different kinds of flyers you guys had, just the different interesting things that you guys were doing, because I know that you just celebrated a birthday maybe, less than a month ago at this point?
Yeah, about a couple weeks ago. And that's the thing, too. Like just to piggyback off what I was saying earlier about the shows and venues and stuff, we the only way we had to get known was to do things ourselves. All those flyers, we make those ourselves. All the promotion, we do that ourselves. Just building the community together, just in a communal way rather than like a, mainstream way or whatever. It's just, just like how hip hop started, like in the Bronx, they would have parties, underground shows, you know what I mean? It's just the community put it together, and all of a sudden it blows up. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of success in the hip hop community right now here in Portland, is because once those venues started getting shut down, all it really did was just bring us closer and help us find new ways and help us find other talent within ourselves, like making flyers or doing whatever. Definitely. You know what I mean? It just brought us up and helped the community build together.
Definitely.
Now, how did a core demonstration form? I know you guys have been doing this before you guys formed as a group and everything like that officially. So, what made you guys get together and form this group and everything like that?
I went to school with this one of the members whose name is Sav. I went to school with him, and we just both really vibed with each other's music. And I rocked at his house one day and we made a song, and it was just like, we just had a really dope chemistry, and we were like, yo, this is dope. And like, we didn't really talk about creating a group or nothing, but we just knew we wanted to work on music together. And then I met Caress at a house show, and then we started making music. We just made one song together, but we knocked it out real smooth and real fast, and it was a really dope song. And we were at a show one time, and we were like, what if we just made a whole tape together? And so we were like, hell yeah, let's do that. So me and him, we whipped up a tape, and that was the first like unofficial core demonstration tape. That was before we had core demonstration established, but the tape was called the Pass Off tape, and it was just me and Caress. And then we met up with this other cat named Baki Coles, who he's currently in California, but he lives in Portland from time to time, and he's really dope. We vibed with him too. And we just kind of came up with the idea. We're like, yo, what if we made a group? Like, because we all vibe together really well. So we're like, what if we just made a group with me, Caress, Sav, and Baki? And so we just kind of made that. And then we came up with the name Core Demonstration. And that's just kind of how it popped off. And then as of recently, we just added Empress, which is a super dope MC here in Portland. She's crazy. And then another homie named Jai, who's also a dope MC. So we're growing. Anybody who we vibe with, anybody who is down to just grind and knock tracks out and just really push rap like crack, then we're going to make it happen.
For both of you guys, how do you balance, your solo work with your core demonstration work? Because, you guys have, it seems like you guys do have like varied styles in certain ways, and I can definitely see that, after listening to like the G-Funk tape and God Notes, and how you guys like kind of like weave in and out of these different styles periodically.
I mean, we do anything. Like, we'll do whatever. Like, when we whip up chord demonstration stuff, it's really just like when any of us are together, we're just like, hey, let's make a song real quick. We just have fun with it and we just make it happen. And then as far as solo stuff, we just kind of do that when we're not together. Like, I just recently came out with a tape called The Lo-Fi Lab. It's on my personal SoundCloud, which is called Samadhi Syph or Sam Syph. You can find it like that. But I got all chord demonstration members on there. I had Caress on there, Sav on there, Baki on there, Jai on there. I had all the people on there. So like, it is definitely like the Wu-Tang thing. Like, we'll have a solo tape, but it'll still be like a group thing. Like, I'm still gonna put on all my people on my solo tape, but yeah, like it's really just like whenever we're together, we work on chord demonstration stuff. Whenever we're not with each other, we'll work on our own stuff.
Channel 10.
Do you want to hear more about classic hip hop? Then check out the Wu-Tang Podcast, a podcast dedicated to all things Wu-Tang. Yes, I said it, all things Wu-Tang. You'll hear discussion on classic Wu-Tang albums, interviews with Wu-related guests. So what are you waiting for? Find the Wu-Tang Podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and wherever else you find your podcasts. Wu-Tang Podcast, a Channel 10 podcast production.
Word up.
When you guys like are starting a project, do you like go in saying like you guys are starting a project, or does it just happen?
Oh, we have been lately. We've been starting projects saying we wanted to do this, we want to sound like this, we want to make these kind of songs for this project. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what we've been doing lately. But I think as we go on and we start doing more of our solo stuff, it's going to be more just hop in the studio. We got a beat. Let's make that song and figure out what we're going to do with it later. Are we going to put it out? We're going to put it on an album, mixtape, whatever we're going to do. You know what I mean?
I mean, a lot of our songs too are really just like spontaneous. Like, we'll just cook something up and we don't know what we're going to use it for. We just know that we made something, and wherever it fits into the puzzle, we'll use it like that. But
as far as God Notes though, we had an idea. Yeah, we had an idea for that. We were going to make it sound like this. We want to get these type of beats. We wanted to do like a lo-fi type thing.
Well, yeah, like I can most definitely tell, because like the G-Funk tape and God Knows that they're like really well put together, and but at the same time I can kind of sense maybe a little bit of spontaneity, because I noticed, I think at least on God Notes, that some of the songs don't have hooks per se, but but it follows like this more or less like an esoteric theme, spirituality and consciousness and everything like that. And I know, Caress, for you, I have a sense that you have an interest in kind of spirituality, like maybe Krishna consciousness. And I noticed that you do post like a lot of certain like inspirational pics of nature and everything like that.
Thing is, like, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna do my art regardless of what people say, but I also want to uplift people as well. I don't want to just be making music to just be making, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, even though that's what I do, I just make music to make music. But if somebody can hear something I say and it changed their life, then, that's like the biggest thing for me. You know what I mean? That's why I post what I post on Facebook, is really just, I just want anybody to look my direction to see positivity. You know what I mean?
It seems to me that you, how can I put it, like with your solo work, it's kind of gone from kind of the smooth kind of idea, like with the Smooth Ass Gorilla album, really smooth, kind of reminds me of the G-Funk tape in certain respects, the kind of like the radio skits in between and everything like that. And it goes from that, and then you go from that to the Wicked Giraffe EP, which it seems to me that it's more or less not as much about kind of like the soundscape and the atmosphere, and like your voice is more up front, and you're talking more about you're more direct with the with the listener about certain things that you're going through. So like visions, and how like that EP just like really starts off the way that it does.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. Like, whatever time frame, whatever I'm dealing with in that time frame is gonna project through the music. You know what I mean? However I'm feeling, no matter what it is, I'm gonna project that through my artistry. So something might sound different this year, and the next thing might sound different the next year. It's just because, my lifestyle moves fast, you know what I mean? And I just project that through whatever I'm doing with my art.
Yeah, because I think on the final song, you had this interesting line which you said, I'm not a rapper, I'm a focused peasant. Oh.
And even that bar, that might be subject to change next year, but that's who I was, you know what I mean? That's who I was. That's, and I write how I'm feeling at that moment, no matter what's cool. It doesn't matter. I don't care about what's cool and what's not. This is what I am, and I portray that through my music. You know what I mean?
So, with you being like an avid baller and I think you play you still play like in a league right now, if I'm correct.
I don't play in the league right now. Yeah, last time I played in the league, I played in this little Filipino league. But I balls though. I'm about to go hoop today, actually.
But do sports and music intersect in different ways for you?
Sports was my first love. Basketball, to be more specific, was my first love, and it taught me about life, like how you gotta. It's just like life. You have a team. You're trying to win the game. You know what I mean? So, and like you got to go about it that same way with life too. So once I started rapping, it's pretty much the same thing. Just build the team and see how far you can take that team. Whether you're a vocal leader, everybody got their own positions. You know what I mean? But yeah, basketball has taught me a lot about life. I wouldn't even know a lot about life if it wasn't for sports.
Mm-hmm.
And still, even when I play basketball now, I'm trying to see what I can take from that and put it into my music or in life in general. You know what I mean? I feel like everything, like you said, I'm a spiritual dude. I feel like everything's just connected. You know what I mean? And we learn from different things to help us in different areas.
Mm. Now, I guess to take it back a little bit with you, Koresh, real quick. It's interesting that you said that you played in a Filipino league because I think I came across one of your earlier works from 2010. Real MC-ish.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, we don't. I don't really talk about that, but that was real MC-ish. That was literally my first. That was my first album. That was my first album I ever created. That's like actually when I first actually started rapping. I started rapping when I was like 18, and I was rapping with this cat named Mike Bars. He got me started on that. And
you still rapping on now, don't you?
Yeah, I still rapping on now. We actually working on an album right now. Treehouse Gang album coming out pretty soon. Mm-hmm. Look out for that. But yeah, I started rapping with Mike Bars when I was 18, just playing around, not knowing what I was doing, and I came out with that album. So that's what that's about.
Well, if you will allow me, I did want to talk about one piece of that album because because I think it's interesting. So going back to this idea that you, as of right now, at least with your mood and like with your artistry right now, you seem a bit more direct with the listener, and you had this interesting song to me. I think it's "Taking Me Away," where you're talking about your issues, but you're referring to yourself in the third person.
Yeah, when I was creating that song, actually, I didn't really have any intentions of putting it on a beat. I was just writing, you know what I mean, and it was just really letting my feelings all go on that. And like I said, that's what I was going through at that time. Mm-hmm. So I talked about it, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much how that was. I had my, Mike Bars, he's the one that showed me the beat to the song, and I did what I had to do. But yeah, that was a long time ago. I can't even believe you talked about that song because I forgot about that, honestly.
Oh, you got that, and you had Filipino girl in there too. That's why I was interested that you said the Filipino league.
Well, check this out. That the Filipino girl, me and Mike, it's a little fun fact. Me and Mike, we had a party in the summer of like 2009 or something like that. I think I was like 19 years old.
Okay.
And we had a fat party, and my baby mom just had my baby, and we had this party, and there's a bunch of Filipino girls there, and that night my homie Mike Bars whipped up a beat, and we called it Filipino Girl because that's what like I said, that's what we were going through at the time.
Right. So is that party that you're talking about? Is that where the rave skit kind of comes from, or the idea of it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's what the lifestyle was at that time. So yeah.
Cool. So Syph, I hear you. Like, I heard you down in the background when we were talking about Caress's album. But for you, are there any what is your first album? What's your first project? When did it come out?
My first project was called The Freshman Tape, and it came out when I was 15 and a freshman. It's really low quality, and like I recorded it on the microphone on my computer. Like, I didn't have a mic. I just used the mic on the computer, and I don't know how to mix or nothing. None of those beats belong to me. It's a really low quality project, but I mean, I still appreciate the lyrical content. But yeah, it's called The Freshman Tape. All my solo tapes you can find on SoundCloud at Sam Syph or Samadhi Syph. That's spelled SAMADHI space CYPH. But yeah, that came out back in 2015.
Okay, cool. Now, well, you know, I mean, I think we've all have rapped out of, you know, with the like the factory computer mic and everything like that. I had some shit that will probably never see the light of day.
That's how you get started.
Yeah. But so speaking of which, I know you guys are about to record soon after we're done with this and everything like that. So, I guess what's your setup like right now that you're going to use, and how has your setup changed over time?
Man, the setup has changed. The setup is always changing.
It's always going to be changing.
Whenever we get some new fly stuff that's going to make our sound better. Yeah, like we just throw it up in there. Like just in this past year, I upgraded from an MXL mic. I think it's a 550. Mm-hmm. It's like a $200 mic, so it's an alright mic. But I just upgraded from that to a Newman mic, which was like $750. And I'm sure in the next year I'll probably get a new mic after that. We have a booth that is soundproofed now. We did not, or at least me personally, I did not used to be recording like that. I would just record wherever. And then what else? We're just tightening up the skill as far as like mixing and mastering.
Yeah, there's a little room in Syph's basement that we go into that has all the equipment, and we go in there. We call it the dungeon. You know what I mean? And we lay tracks down, but we're always upgrading. We're always trying to find ways to make it better and sound better, you know.
Right. So when it comes to mastering, are y'all still using Isotope?
I actually just downloaded some Isotope plugins, like literally just like 2 weeks ago. I wasn't using that before. But
it's better to use Isotope plugins than the program, right?
Yeah, I use Logic Pro X for just about everything, but I definitely would use some like Isotope plugins, some Waves plugins. I had been like the G-Funk tape and God Notes. I honestly, like, to be real, like I'm not too fond of the mastering and the mixing on God Notes. The G-Funk tape is good. I like that. Like, I can listen to that and enjoy it, but I can also see how it can improve a lot. But like with those tapes, I had mixed and mastered just using Logic's native plugins. But I just got some Waves plugins and just got some Isotope plugins. So the next project that comes out will be an upgrade from that.
All the next projects is going to be upgrades.
Oh yeah,
from
definitely.
The previous.
Definitely.
I mean, hey, the G-Funk tape, it slaps. Like the bass is like really good, well put together and everything like that to me. So shit, I think you did a pretty good job with the G-Funk tape.
I appreciate that.
And like I said, that's all done by herself. My man Syph, he does the mastering and the mixing and all that, and we're in pretty, like I said, music. It's like a learning thing. We just do it ourselves, learn how to do it, and now we have the knowledge to make it better if we need to.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how you can really get great at it. Cause like Dr. Dre, for example, he talks about how he had no idea how to use any of the equipment, and like nobody would teach him at the time, because like when he was on death row, like nobody wanted to come around and teach him because it was all a whole bunch of like gangsters doing gangster shit, and they didn't want to be around that dangerous environment. So Dr. Dre had to teach himself like how to mix and how to master and just how to get his sound on point. And that's how he became so raw, is because he just approached it just not knowing what he was doing, but
he approached it as a student,
right? And just taught himself. And that's kind of what I'm doing. And especially today, because of the internet, like so much information is available that there's no reason not to, learn how to do it on your own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're not trying to learn how to do it on your own. You're just gonna stay where you're at, unless you got a lot of money.
Or you got the right mentors.
Yeah, or resources, whatever. So I said we didn't have resources like that, so we had to learn on our own, start from the bottom.
Yeah, we're doing alchemy right here.
We're
making something out of nothing.
That's most definitely true. So for you, Syph, when you began rapping, did like producing come a bit later, or did you just kind of like pick both of them up at the same time?
Well, like I had said, I had played guitar and bass before I rapped. Mm-hmm. I was doing drums in a jazz band like around the same time that I was rapping. I was playing drums for about like 4 years, from when I was like, I want to say like 12 to 16. And like I was rapping at the same time. Like I wrote my first rap when I was like 12. And so like the musical knowledge that came from like those instruments, I kind of like incorporated that into my raps. Like I've had people tell me that like I rap like a jazz drum, and I would totally agree with that. Like just as far as like rhythms, like I could see myself like the rhythms that I rap in are very jazz, like how you would play it on a drum set. But like I got into producing, like I guess you could say I got into producing when I was first started playing guitar, because like I had a guitar teacher, and like part of the lesson was I had to write my own combination of chords and whatnot. But as far as like actually producing like hip hop, I started as soon as I had access to a computer and I could get on GarageBand. That's when I really first started making beats, and they were just terrible at the time, but I've definitely just evolved that more and more.
Right. So is there a particular kind of like, do you use like Reason nowadays, or a beat machine?
I use an MPK with Logic. Pretty much like all my work is done in Logic, just because like I'm pretty familiar with Logic, so it's real easy to learn more in it when you already know how to do it. I could start up something new, like I could start to learn Pro Tools or start to learn Ableton, but it would just be kind of like a few steps back to actually start to understand it, because just to understand Logic was like a process in itself. But now that I'm familiar, I can get better at it easier.
So when it comes to like building a project and trying to get like these different producers, I'm assuming you guys like most likely have connections with all these different people nowadays. But will you guys like go back to just like in-house producing, just like from you, Syph, or you, Caress, or something like that?
I mean, we would definitely do some in-house stuff if like my only thing is like it's hard for me to produce an entire project and then also rap on it, and then also mix and master it. So that's why usually we don't have just strictly just strictly an in-house produced project. Like I would definitely produce for like somebody else, or produce for like just myself. Mm-hmm. But like it's real hard to like produce a whole core demo project, have everybody come record on it, I record on it myself as well, and then have to mix that all up. But like usually for core demo projects, like, yeah, we'll just find beats that we vibe with, and then we'll take it from there.
I know for me, like when I like produce and rap, like they're like for me they're like kind of two different muscles, and they could be like tiring at times. And I can only imagine how it can be if you have a whole group that you got to produce for, and then you got to mix and master your own, like everything else.
And that's the thing too. Like another thing that's essential in this rap game, like I was talking about earlier, building a team and all that. Everybody got their own positions. We got a lot of MCs. We got Sam, who's mixing, mastering, can make beats. You know what I mean? What we're trying to do now is just expand on our team as far as people who can mix, produce, make beats. We're just trying to have all that on our team. Like we were talking about before, Death Row, they had Dre, they had Pac, they had a whole team, you know what I mean, behind the scenes and in the forefront. You know what I mean? So right now, that's what we're building towards right now. We recently got a photographer. So yeah, we're just trying to build up like that. Yeah, like ideally if there was somebody else who strictly did the mixing and mastering, then the product would sound better because that's strictly what they do. And also then I could put then I would have more time to just focus on just producing and rapping.
What's the writing process for you guys? Do y'all still use pen and paper, or do you guys type it up in your phone?
For
pen
me,
and pad.
Okay, yeah. For me, it's both. Writing is like air to me. You know what I mean? Wherever I'm at, I'll write. Yeah. Whatever I got doesn't really matter. It's the stuff that it's like just getting the music recorded right and getting it to sound right is the big part. The writing process, I could be anywhere. I could be in any environment. I could write 16 bars. I'm sure the same thing with Cypher too. You know what I mean? Whether it's on the phone, whether it's on the pad, we have something we got to say, we'll say it. We got that down like air. You know what I mean? Thing we're trying to figure out now is how to keep making consistent projects with good mastering, good mixing, good beat selection, and all that. So yeah, the writing process is just like air.
But I'll write on whatever. But like, if a pen and pad is accessible, that's my that's what I prefer.
Go-to weapon.
Yeah, that's my go-to weapon. Exactly. I prefer the pen and pad just because I don't know. I feel like there's kind of a more I feel like there's more like intimacy with the writing when you're writing it with the pen and pad rather than just typing it on the phone. But if like, let's say I'm just like out and about and I don't have a pen and pad, then obviously I'll just jot some rhymes down on my phone. Or even sometimes, like, especially with songs that are like singing songs, I'll even just hop in the booth and freestyle a sing song. But I'm definitely not a rapper who freestyle raps all their songs. I definitely think that I think you can tell the rappers who freestyle their songs. I think you can differentiate between the rappers who write their raps and the rappers who freestyle their raps. And I mean that as in the rappers who write their raps tend to present more skill than the rappers who freestyle their raps.
So with regards to the entire core demo, when all of y'all get together, what kind of vibe do all of y'all need, to kind of get on like the same page, the same kind of wavelength when y'all are starting a new project or working on a song or two during a session? Like, what do y'all need in the studio? Y'all got a lot of candle or what?
40 ounce of Paps. I get a couple of joints. Yep, incense burning. You know what I mean? My man Syph might meditate for an hour or two in the morning. You know what I mean?
That's necessary for just the day.
The homie Sav might be practicing martial arts a couple minutes before the studio session. But no, but we
vibe on this. We vibe on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Regardless, we just vibe off of each other. So we're all like the same.
We like the same people in different bodies. So like we just hop in the stew and we just find we just find sounds that we like and we're like, okay, let's rap to this, and then we do it.
Yep. It's like a thing where when we all get together, music just happens. It's not even.
We don't even have to say let's make.
Yeah,
music.
it's not even premeditated really. It's we're here. There's something about to get done.
Yeah, so I mean that's interesting though because like so Scythe like you actually meditate and everything like that. Koresh, you have the basketball like kind of like sports kind of vibe going on or discipline. I think you guys said Sav does martial arts and shit like that. When it comes to you guys, although you guys are similar, was there like a different kind of vibe between the God Note sessions and the G-Funk tape sessions at all?
Definitely. I mean, I would say so. I feel like the G-Funk tape, we were just kind of like, I mean, what were we doing at that time?
G-Funk tape?
Yeah, what were we doing?
Well, here's how it is. For me, it's probably a little bit different for me because I'm not the one mixing and mastering and
But what were we doing? Were we partying during that time?
It sounds like it.
Yeah. It was summertime. We was partying.
Oh, it was summertime. Okay, that's why. It was summertime.
And we on the West Coast. You know what I mean?
G-Funk tape, it was summertime. God knows we had recorded in the winter. And the winter was real harsh this past winter. Like, it was snowed out. Me and Caress, we were just locked in the house for like
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And we were just like, all right, well, we'll just make music. So the sound is really just like, it's really just like isolated and like we were just thinking, you know what I mean? Like it was just us and our thoughts. So like that's what God Notes really was, is it was just like a poem. And like you said, like there wasn't a hook on a lot of the songs because we weren't even really making songs for that tape. It was more just like a long poem on it was like a poem in rhythm, you know what I mean? So like we just whipped that up. We were locked in the house and that's how that happened. And then
we were trying to get 20 songs on it, but we did make a couple songs
didn't make the cut.
That did make the cut, right? Yeah.
But then the G-Funk tape, that was summertime. We were kicking it. I didn't have school. He works at a school, so he didn't have school either. And so we were just kicking it, catching, we were just having fun. And so like it definitely reflected in the music.
Because I love how you guys you do have the lo-fi kind of icy isolated sound, and yet you guys do have your kind of West Coast vibes on it, with Chats with the Devil, which is really really cerebral. I think if I recall properly, different perspectives on consciousness for the most part, but you guys have this kind of harmonic Bone Thugs kind of vibe to it in certain respects, if I do say so myself. And then even with Old Roadside and how I think Koresh, you started that song off with that really personal verse again about your daughter and everything like that. So I think that's my favorite project from y'all. It's a really thoughtful album, and I can kind of see it's like a long poem, all you guys in your different states, but on the same page.
Well, we all vibe on a I don't know if spiritual is the right term, but we all vibe on a spiritual connection together. So it was really pretty easy.
We all got a spiritual side to us. So that side definitely interacts with each other.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So where do you guys see Chord Demonstration going in the next 2 years or whatever like that? What's coming up for y'all? Solo projects, a new chord demo project, tour. What's going on?
Whether it be solo stuff or chord demo stuff, it's gonna uplift us all. So I put out a solo tape, but by me doing that, it's gonna help Caress out. It's gonna help Sav out. It's gonna help Bakia. It's gonna help everybody out just because they're all part of it and they're all part of the movement. And so we're kind of just we're working on everything, honestly. Caress is gonna finish up his the Treehouse Gang album with Mike. And that's gonna help us out because they're gonna see Caress on there, and you know what I mean. If Chord Demo has a feature on that, then obviously it's gonna help Chord Demo out. And then I'm always working on solo stuff when I'm not with Caress or when I'm not with anybody. I'm always working on stuff just throughout the day. So I'll have another solo tape out pretty soon. And then whenever me and Caress link up, we always work on stuff. So there will definitely be another chord demo tape out soon as well.
Yeah, there's always going to be a chord demo tape coming out soon. But like you said where you see yourself in the future as far as chord demonstration or solo or whatever. Me, I don't like put a face on that, but in the future, all I see is us having what we need to have to create our art in the way we want it to be. We want to have full control over our art, whether it's music, videos, whatever it is. So that's where I see myself in the future, not, just upgrading and being able to say, I want this to look and sound exactly like this, and actually getting that done.
Yeah.
So that's where I see us
have
in
the
the
resources to do that.
Yeah.
I feel personally, I want to expand more. I want my music to be heard on a larger scale. I want, cause like, I personally, like, I want to talk about things that really make people think and really like help people find themselves. So like, yeah, like I just really want my music to be heard on a larger scale so that I'll be able to do something like that. And yeah, I'm just really trying to expand. I'm just really trying to get more, get my music out there more. So I'm just trying to make the moves to do that.
All right, but and finally, where can people find you guys? Social media and everything like that.
SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Twitter. We got a website.
Okay, what's the name though?
Yeah, what's the name?
www.timwprod.com. And you'll see that on the social media. I'll be posting that daily. You can find all of our Instagrams and all that at Chord Demonstration. CORDMONSTRATION.
Yeah, you can find Chord Demonstration on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. You can find Caress's SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, all that at Caress which is spelled THAMC. You can find my SoundCloud at Samadhi Saif or Sam Saif. Samadhi is spelled SAMADHI space CYPH. My personal Instagram is the Lone Samurai, and Lone is spelled with a 0 rather than an O. But yeah, and then Baki Coles, you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud at BAQI space Coles, like J. Cole with an S. And then Sav, you can find him on SoundCloud, and Instagram just for him at SAV, which is spelled with the money sign, SAV. And then Empress, you can find her on Instagram, SoundCloud, Facebook at Empress, and the E is in brackets. That's a necessary part of the name. And then my man Jai, he still doesn't have SoundCloud or anything like that, but he's working on stuff actively, and he's going to be on features in the future. So you'll see.
Yeah, you can just find him if you come to Portland. And go downtown or something. TIMWprod.com. TIMWprod.com.
Hold up, man. It's a different channel, son. Roll up, on, man. Roll up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man. It's all good. Roll up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Roll up, your CNN Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas is grown men. Bold face, gather your faith. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas that's grown men. Bold face, gather your faith. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef.